Well, mate, I'm glad that's over. No more silly challenges. Ash versus Dan, done.
Well, that's why we're here, aren't we? Just finished Ash versus Dan. If you haven't seen that, the Ash versus Dan series, silly challenges, and this time we did it on the slopes. Ash had not broke the phone.
Which I'm grateful for. I'm not built for speed or flexibility.
What are you built for? Golf?
Academia.
Academia.
Academia. No, not even a word. But here we are, Moritz. Couldn't have picked a better day for it. What we're doing is slightly different. I thought I'd bring us to somewhere different. Because we like to do things differently, I thought we'd invite the man who helped bring it to life.
The maniac behind the genius.
Yeah.
Lewis of Hussel.
Hello, how's it going?
Cold. This place only open once a year, isn't it?
Yes.
This is
the only place, I believe, in the world.
You can't play it in the summer.
No, because it's a lake.
Lake.
But you can try.
Look, I'm really excited. People are going to be able to see why we've done Ash versus Dan.
Yeah.
The method behind the madness, because there was always that. And also what plans we've got and what Lewis is going to do for us.
Also, it allows them to bring me on camera, so then when it all goes to pot, they can just be like, it was that guy.
We've got people waiting and they've got rangefinders. This is serious.
So look, the rules are, if you get a hole in one, you win Ash versus Dan outright.
There are some other rules as well.
Go on, what's the other rules?
Winter rules apply, so it's preferred light.
Yeah.
You can play off the tee off the fairway.
Yep.
Wind restrictors aren't allowed.
What are they then?
If the ball goes out of the fairway, then it's deemed out of bounds and it's a one-shot penalty to come back into the playing area.
Oh, he's fatted it. So Lewis has never played golf before.
I played golf once before,
Yeah.
and I don't know how, but I might play
What
it.
did you do?
So I got a club.
It's all in the hips, baby.
It's like this.
I do.
Is it going to be so bad? Right, you can carry the club.
I mean, I hit it.
Go, baby.
I shall be here all day.
So Lewis, normally, mate, you're behind the camera.
I know, dear.
And why with a face like that? But now we've dragged you in front of it. But why? Why have we got you here? Of all places, playing golf on a frozen lake.
Well, considering the fact that I'm not someone who knows how to play golf, that is a great question. I'm here because Mr. Lua had the great idea of finishing off the season of Ash versus Dan in a spectacular fashion. Skiing, these two have a passion for skiing. I love skiing as well. And I think it's a great idea to come down and do something a bit different and try and create some scroll-stopping, interesting, bollocks content. Also, the golf is interesting. So these guys have been in a golf podcast in the UK and all these different guests have come on the show. We've never really spoken about why we're doing a golf podcast, why we're doing Ash versus Dan.
Yeah, look, I think today isn't going to be about the golf. It's more about the location. It's more about you and why me and him are dragged up trees and windsurfing in November.
Because normally we're the ones in front of the camera,
Yeah.
making edits for ourselves, and you're behind it giggly.
Pulling the strings. Yeah.
And now look at you.
Literally. I literally usually be on the camera with Kane, just like, not pulling the strings, but coming up with the ideas for these guys to be a bit more exciting, but also to have a bit more fun, I think. Because it's all well and good as sitting talking about hard hats and construction, but unless these guys are having fun in their business and enjoying it, people at home are not going to sit there and watch and enjoy it. I think it's great. I think it's fun. I've had a blast today watching you two.
It is. Go and watch you peg up, mate, because that's more of a laugh than me falling over.
In the clear sky. Oh, perfect.
Oh, no.
It's going to take me 3 years to get to the hole.
So Ash told me about you. But actually, I saw you years ago. I haven't told you this. I come across your stuff and I liked it.
Look, it's become the common theme of this bloody podcast. A lot of our relationships now are just driven by like social media and LinkedIn. I've seen some of your stuff on LinkedIn. Dan had mentioned you previously. Look, we're disruptors. I'll call us the Challenger Bank. We're the Monzo and the Starling. Maybe not Starling, they're boring, but...
No, but the issue we got, and we still haven't overcome it, is that because we've created a new way of solving an old problem, there is no term for our product, what we do. We're not a payroll company, we're not a contract company, we're not an admin company. So we need another way of getting it out there. And us putting stuff on LinkedIn is just words. It's still...
Well, we need something that was going to show everybody else that we did it.
What we do, what we're about, and that, you know, if you want to sort it out, we're normal people. Nice. Like a year ago, 2 years ago, down, get you from the camera, and just wear a wetsuit and put it online on LinkedIn to get business. I'd be like, what are you talking about? But you've got some voodoo magic.
All the time we're doing the funny content, you've still got to think what people want to know.
And say the same things differently. Our message is very simple. What we do is very it's one thing. So how many times keep saying the same thing online, through words, through sitting behind a desk? People are not going to watch it anymore. We say it all the time. on a podcast and everything. Shut. Oh, wait, that. Hello. The payroll companies have always done it the same way, so we need to do the opposite. They zig, we zag.
Disrupt, make noise, and stand out. They're the keywords that we're looking for when we're on a call with a customer, or a potential customer. If they don't say that sort of stuff to me, I generally recommend another agency to work with. It's not that, it's just they're not going to...
You got to enjoy what we do, right?
They're not going to like me, I'm not going to like them. It's going to bore me to death.
What do you do? What do Hussel do?
Yeah, we should probably explain that, shouldn't we? So Hussel is essentially
a travel agency. Yeah. If you want to play golf on the ice...
It's booked through me because I sorted this out. Hussel Marketing it did start out as a normal marketing agency that did SEO, websites and PPC. And my passion has always been really creative content, really trying to stand out. I just didn't know how to make us that way. So we started doing really creative campaigns like experiential stuff, PR stunts, coming out of the box content and going, let's go and do this, not that. Slowly but surely, words getting round, word of mouth's working, and we're starting to draw in the bigger brands. But I had to start with the small guys first to get that portfolio.
Do you find that because you are so out there that there is a bit of backlash? Or
I think that a lot of people will never understand it. I think when they first started, I've been in marketing for 12 years, right? So people go, oh, it's just a guy who's been doing silly things saying he's a marketer. They don't know that I studied it. I got a master's degree in it and that I worked in-house and in agencies for those 9 years before I went on my own. Before I even dared to start an agency, they just thought I was a random guy doing crazy shit. However, fast forward to year 5, people are starting to eat those words a little bit because I'm now stealing their clients right from under their nose.
You saying that is another reason why we're so aligned. We were the underdog. You still are the underdog.
Always will be.
People can turn their nose up it as much as they want until it works. Yeah. And then what happens? They're going to copy you. But by then, you're already leaps and bounds ahead on the next thing.
That's what we're finding now.
But we always keep the underdog mentality because it keeps us on our toes.
Never ever relax.
We're always looking at changing our app, improving the product, improving the process, improving our marketing, improving our people. You could say, someone copy it, market it better, process it better, and we're just the guys who come up with it, but it's the second place beat them.
90% of the stuff you guys tell me, well, we've never done the same thing twice in terms of content. We do the golf podcast, never the same guest, never the same sort of mentality we approach it. All the content we've done so far in terms of Ash versus Dan is completely different, and we're changing it again, completely different again. People think marketing and content creation, all that sort of stuff, and putting brand out there is doing the same thing over and over again, but it's not. It's the same mindset you just mentioned there. And every time we meet and we speak, I'm hearing that you're doing something else, which is, operations-based or whatever. And I think that's impressive. With the Ash versus Dan content, like I said, the brief was disrupt, make content nobody else is doing. And someone turns around to you and says that, it's very hard to do. And what we're trying to get across, we want to get across what these guys do in a way that's more engaging, right? In a way that if the average Joe was scrolling through Instagram or TikTok, they might just pay attention to them speaking for a second. Because if they were just sat talking to the camera about construction, most people are not the audience, it'll get low views and low reach and engagement. Whereas if anyone can watch it and understand what's going on, it gets higher views, and more of their target audience are going to see it. So in that terms, logistically, that's what we're doing. But the actual rationale behind the whole thing is these two are not boring.
Oh, no, I've gone out of bounds.
They're young, dynamic, innovative.
I've got to admit, when you first said to us, look, we've got 2 hours to kill, boys, I've got an idea. Let's go to the fairground and let's quiz each other. I was like, nah. Now come on, do it. And he dragged us to the fair. Everyone looking at us thinking, what are these clowns doing? But actually, the feedback we've had from people, our clients, people that have now become clients, it's brilliant. Because you look like a normal person. Me blacking out, I didn't look normal, but it's really outside. I wanted to be different, but I had to go out of my comfort zone to get it. It doesn't come naturally to us.
I think what it's done for us, it's really defined our audience. People or our industry are really interested around the whole thing that we do. We've worked hard to educate around it being the contract and rah, 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 rah. Now people seeing Dan and I on camera, they can kind of see who we are, and they're making their minds up before they've even reached out whether or not they want to work with us.
If you're a super, say we'll take an accountant as an example. If you're an accountant in the industry and everything in your world is very straight and narrow, you're probably not going to work with the two guys who are laughing and joking and blacking out on the waltzes. But if you're, like you said, an innovative person or in the construction industry or traders, and you don't see yourself as a boring straight person, in fact, you probably don't trust those types of people, who are you more likely to work with? The people whose personality is fully on show, but also have the knowledge, or the guys who have the knowledge, but they're trying to act super professional? I think in your space, obviously they're creating their own space, but in your space, the nearest competitors are payroll companies. Yeah. And the perception of those guys, to me, looking at through the competition, well, they're crap at social, by the way, so up your game. But they don't put anything out. If they do put it out, it's super polished, super boring, looks like a bank, looks like a tax accountant. It looks like any kind of person that no one wants to talk to. Like when you go to a party and someone goes, there's an accountant over there, everyone goes, I'll go over here. I guarantee if someone goes, what do you do for a living? I own a payroll company, I work at a payroll company, they go, cool. Not going to ask me any more follow-up questions to that because it's boring.
Basically, you say that when I meet people, what do you do? And it's like, I don't want to tell you what I do because I do contracts. Like, I go, right, okay. It's like, I want to say like I'm a spy or something, but I can't.
To be fair, you've made yourself look like James Bond today.
I look James Pond.
I'm aiming the right way, still there. You ready for this one?
What's the odds he's going to fall in his ass?
Yeah. I told you to hammer it though.
Let me think about it.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, look, I always had the idea of doing the podcast, but never felt comfortable with this whole sitting in a room, egg cartons on the wall. So when you got to know us and suggested that we come out on the golf course and start chatting to people, it just felt right. And for me, feeling right is how I operate. But the feedback we've had from it as well, couldn't tell you how positive it's been. I even had our coffee writer message me last night saying, "Well, am I not coming on it?
Yeah.
Lisa, give me a shout. Come on."
Everyone makes the mistake of creating content for someone else when actually it's your content. You have to enjoy it. It's much more challenging to film. Like, this is a nightmare. We're losing battery life. The daylight going. It's losing battery life. It's apart from the case, it's frozen. He fell in a hole. But you know what? We're making that effort because we don't want to do the same as everyone else.
No.
I don't want to do the same, and these guys don't want to do the same.
We're looking towards new content. Ash vs Dan finished today, thank God. We're gonna go into something new. Oh, great shot. Oh.
So I've got a question for both of you two. Obviously, we've done Ash versus Dan. We've done waltzers and the big rides. We've done go ape, climbing trees, windsurfing,
Pie eating.
These ideas, these guys never know what they're going to do. We plan this ahead of time. They turn up. We started blindfolding them at some point. It got a bit weird, but they never know what they're going to do. So I want to know which ones you've enjoyed.
I really enjoyed at the fairground because there was no expectation. It was, right, we've got a couple of hours. Let's just go and try this. Crazy idea that you had. It just worked. Yeah, golf shop. Yeah, I don't think I've laughed as much as I have then while I've been at work for I don't know how long. That hole for Danny was a disqualification because we were all playing number ones and there's a 0. I lost my ball and picked up a 3. DQ'd. That's a bit warmer.
Once that sun went behind that mountain, it got cold real quick.
Yeah, but I got a par.
You got a par, mate? Yes, we good golf, to be fair.
And you would have if you didn't cheat.
Yep.
And I can't play golf.
You had the longest drive of the day?
Do you know what? I'm proud of that. And I kept saying to him, I want to hit it with that club. It looks fun. The big one. The big one. I'm going to smash this. And I did smash it.
But mate. No, but you're asking about our favourite Ash vs Dan challenge. I did say, to be fair, yours was the waltzers and the fairground. And I think mine is as well because I sit out there. No expectation. Shitting myself. Out of my comfort zone. Didn't know how I was going to come out. And we just laughed.
It took us back to being 15 again when they were at school.
And genuinely, I was clinging on for life.
There's this horrible thing that everyone does where they try to over-plan stuff and it never ends up being fun. Just like a mate, go on holiday with this mate and they have an itinerary and they tell you exactly where you're going to go each day and you see a coffee shop with that. It looks nice. It's not on a list.
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, is that you?
No, my OCD doesn't allow me not to have a list.
Film crews, production people, social media people, they've got this list in their head, what they want to capture. And what happens is none of the real fun stuff or the real organic stuff. Like a minute ago, we can talk about off-camera stuff. Like a minute ago, Ash said, should we wait for the hot chocolates to come? And I was like, no, because if she walks in shot and brings hot chocolates, we're in Switzerland getting hot chocolate. What? We expect you to see it. We're not trying to be polished. So we're not going to pretend to be. The fact that we actually went down there, we created some content, and you guys were natural on camera, which is great. And then people watching, it was a bit awkward, a bit weird, but it was fun. You did actually start getting sick. You were actually screaming and laughing. And how often can a marketing company or anyone say they sit with clients doing content and they start screaming, laughing, cheering?
Yeah, false fun.
Because it's real.
The last 6 months have been an eye-opener for me in terms of what you can do with marketing. Until we set out on the journey, probably about 18 months ago, of really like trying to drill down on it.
Yeah.
But what you've definitely shown me in the last 6 months is that you can have fun whilst running and growing a business. You can bring your personality out in in the marketing, you don't have to be polished and chiseled.
Like I said, not everything works.
Sometimes we won't even enjoy it. Like golf.
That is true.
Yeah, I'm not doing that again.
Golf on the frozen lake.
Like windsurfing.
That would say windsurfing, tried it. We don't like it.
I like it.
In November. Maybe in summer, it'd be nice.
And some wind would be handy. It's us standing on a paddle board.
I'm about to crash into that boat, yeah? I feel tired. I feel scared for my life.
The big thing in that is that it doesn't have to be polished, right? Like, we've been speaking about this on this trip. I'm like, just send you some B-roll, just post. Just say something about it. My posts are not planned. They're just like a story post. The content I post is never scripted or planned. It's just, what do I feel like talking about today? I really don't like is people who are influencers, like on LinkedIn, for example, and they'll sit there and they'll post, they'll schedule all their content for an entire month. And on the day when they're their lowest, they've just had all these contracts get cancelled. Bailiffs knocked on the door. Yeah, thank you so much. They didn't post about how amazing business is, but the day that post is going out, actually, it's probably the worst day ever. They're ill, the business is falling apart. But as far as their audience is concerned, they're having a great time.
Life's perfect.
I would rather post and go, I'm having the shittest day ever. We didn't script Ash wiping out and nearly dying, and then nearly dying a second time when a kid nearly took his head off.
That really hurt.
He just threw himself into it. And did you like it? That crash? No.
We didn't script Ash's insides of his body during jump.
Go.
We didn't script Ash's egg smashing. Well, there's a lot of these. What else do you think of? You didn't script Ash eating and devouring a pie tower in a record time.
Wolves answering questions. And they've never done before.
And the reason is, how can you genuinely say you're trying to put your personality in and connect with an audience if you're not being genuine and true to yourself?
You've given me the belief that I don't have to be this certain character on screen. And when I mean screen, I mean the mobile phone, because everything we do is socials, right? Construction has this interesting viewpoint on marketing because it's very, very old school in white to the eyes, done on a handshake, who you know, surveyors will move from one company to another, and that's how things happen. There isn't a real marketing scene in construction. There's a few guys and people that are getting into it. Lee Fuller, we need you on the podcast. So it was, for me, I had this, I suppose, anxiety of, does it have to be polished? Does it have to be perfect? Well, you've proven no.
Every time I give a script to a client, it's so rigid, it doesn't allow for a natural conversation. Now, when we do the podcast, I give them talking points about the guest, because obviously they haven't got time to research them. In your industry, there's probably this anti-social. We don't need to do that. Our business is doing just fine. Our business is fine as it is. It might be right now, but what do you think is going to happen when all these new blood comes into the industry? So I'm a millennial. I'm 34 years old, right? A lot of 34 to... How old are you guys?
37.
A lot of these younger guys that were born on social, we had Facebook, Bebo, all that sort of stuff, and now becoming players in the industry. Well, everyone's marketing game is going to go off. So you either innovate or die.
Outrage, we buy from the internet.
Yeah.
We buy people from LinkedIn.
Every one of our suppliers who help us with not only our marketing, but our FD, the power of social media just allows you to see the person and whether or not they're right for you and the business. So what's next for you then, mate?
What's next for us?
What's next for us then, mate?
I'm not a very big fan of doing the same thing twice. You may have noticed that they've not even done anything remotely similar in any of the chat. The golf stays the same, obviously, as a format, but nothing else is the same. I believe you should always surprise and delight your audience. Anyway, we're moving away from that, and we're going to go and do some more digging into informational stuff now. So it's not necessarily as much crazy, which is fine, because we can always come back to this in the near future. And your story, what you do, where we're going, why we're doing it, what's happening, and in real time capture a lot of stuff. And then I'd like to be lining up 6 months worth of amazing people to come and challenge and play with and do crazy stunts with and reverse back to Ashworth style. Maybe do something else after that. So we were talking about this before, and one of the things that we flagged is that they've got this amazing app. Their customers love it, but you can't really find much information about it online.
So we don't sell it.
Yeah.
Because the problem we solve is, how can I use my subbies long term and keep HRC happy? It's not how can I send out my documents to my subbies
and more efficiently.
Yeah.
But not just that, but in a way that the subbies are going to engage and remains engaged, because what currently happens for other companies, emails, log onto your laptop.
Well, I know what happens, because when we talk about, firms come to us and say, look, I've got subcontractors working with each other for 10 plus years. We've got a relationship. I'm a bit worried that if I do give on the contract, it'll upset the subbie, which we get. Ash and I worked on a sort of nurture sequence with the subbie, so we'll we'll send out an FAQ document to the subby first. They get a email explaining who we are. Then they get a video that explains who we are. So when they get a contract link on their phone on WhatsApp, they're fully aware of what's going on, why they have to do it. And it's not a scary, they're trying to catch me out thing, which
Most people would say, yeah, look, construction is salt of the earth, and that's why I really enjoy working in it.
Yeah, you just say, look at those.
But they're also the most cynical buggers you'll ever meet. So the first thing that they immediately think is what's the catch?
Is why.
We've had to work really hard to bring that resistance barrier down, not only for us, because we're the ones that are reaching out on behalf of the clients, but also for the clients themselves, because fundamentally, the reason why the app was built was to get the contract signed.
We don't want to make it anything that doesn't need to be. Wouldn't it be good if you could do this?
Or think,
And not add to it.
exactly, yeah. People love to get subbies to sign documents that have no bearing on self-employed status whatsoever. It's all employment, and it's an issue. So whatever we can do to try and help that will just make the industry a little bit better.
And no one tied it together. People looking at health and safety are looking at health and safety. We're looking at employment status. You got people looking at tax. It's just no one brings it all together. If we can bring it all into one and make it very simple to understand, then hopefully people want it.
So have you found working with us over the last 6 months, mate?
I found working with you guys great in the sense that actually you're trusting me that whatever I've decided is gonna happen. It's gonna be good. I really enjoyed the last 6 months. It's really caused me to try and every single thing we've done. If you look back through it, I'm trying to think outside the box.
I think as well now where you're coming in on a bit more of a strategic level for us in the business as well, where you'll be looking after all of the suppliers, being able to look at the data, what's performing, what's not performing, from ads to social to SEO. Because let's face it, Dan and I don't understand it, and probably more importantly, don't have the bandwidth for it.
We started out just posting ourselves on LinkedIn. We tried to do it, once a week. We tried doing more. We tried doing this, and we, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. But we realised you had to be consistent. But that's just one bit of marketing. Yeah. Business is thriving on marketing. Is dependent on it. We need someone to be putting it all together because we're doing so much great stuff. If it's all aligned, we'll just explore.
Be the rocket ship.
It's a really hard one to track. Social media, you're spending 10 grand a month creating social content. What was the ROI? Because you really cannot pinpoint it. It's really sometimes really intangible. But our job is to try and make it tangible. Try and go, actually, we know if we did more of this, we get more sales. At the end of the day, marketing is great, airy-fairy stuff. But the bottom line is, it has to improve the bottom line.
Look, mate, just want to say thank you for the last 6 months.
Been banging. It's been banging, shaking hands as well.
We're
You always put each other.
I'm really excited to see what the next one will do.
I think these are going to be the guys to watch.
Thanks again, mate.
Buzz him.
Thank you.
And cut.
That's a wrap.